Hey Leo, I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back. Welcome to those of you who have never been here with me before. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different reading the first 2 weeks in June, guys. Will still be a general reading, obviously, for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, but I'm going to be incorporating a significant amount of astrology front-loaded into it, which I will timestamp, okay? So if you're not interested in hearing about the eclipses and where the eclipse might be hitting you, please fast forward. I will timestamp. I'll put it in the description. Crowning energy is Pisces, I believe. Yeah, so I feel like I do want to say that because I'm getting very positive feedback for the most part, including the astrology. Please let me know what you guys think. But there are some people who just shut the hell up and get to the reading, girlfriend. So if you, I'm pulling a Celtic cross spread for you, by the way. So if you're not interested in all of that, blada blada, about the eclipses, I just feel like it's very important for us to understand what's happening right now with the eclipses and where it's hitting us. Even though the eclipse season doesn't officially begin until July. So we're ending with you. I like that outcome. The eclipse season doesn't officially begin until July 2nd. We're feeling it now because there's a 6-week shadow. All right, so let's get the eclipse stuff out of the way first, and then we're going to get into your spread. I'm going to try to break this down really simplistically for you guys, just so you can understand on a very practical level how this might be impacting you. First of all, when it comes to eclipses, we need to think about them more as more of a story than anything else. That takes around 2 years to unfold. So there are two types of eclipses, solar and lunar. The solar eclipses occur during the new moon phase when the sun and the moon are positioned at the exact same degree within the same sign. And what's important to know here is that the moon passes between the sun and the earth temporarily, blocking the sun, obscuring the sun. So there's shadow elements about that. And then the lunar eclipse corresponds with the full moon phase. And so during this time, the moon emanates the earth's shadow. So again, another shadowy element. But eclipses happen between 3 and 7 times a year. And they usually happen in clusters. And I know that's kind of a wide span, but it does depend on the chunk of years and what we're actually talking about. But what's important for us to understand here is that this eclipse story began July 13th of 2018. So think back to mid-July of 2018. What was going on, okay? Because that's when the story began, and it's going to continue through 2020, lighting up the Cancer and Capricorn axis. So this eclipse continues this summer with the solar eclipse in Cancer on July 2nd, and a partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn July 16th into 17th. And the final eclipse on this axis will happen on July 5th into 6th of 2020 of next year. And when the total lunar eclipse happens at 13 degrees Capricorn, that's going to wrap up this story, wrap up this eclipse cycle. So astrologically speaking, what does that mean? So eclipses speed up time, okay? They open new doors by slamming others shut. So we often find very abrupt and sudden shifts happening during eclipse seasons. And these shifts can be very jarring, and they help us speed up the inevitable. And it's important to understand that it's the inevitable that gets sped up. So if you've been dragging your feet in a specific area, having to do with, anything from relationship to career to anything, this is going to really give you the shove that that's needed to take action. And the results can be shocking. Just remember again, it's just expediting the inevitable. Whatever's gonna happen would have happened eventually anyway. But remember that endings are hard, but everything is cyclical. And culmination always occurs on the edge of a beginning. So really try to look at it as the glass half full, and just pay very close attention what's happening in your life right now, because there are going to be some major pivots within this 2-year period. You just have to know that. So to illustrate this, first of all, let's look at the past 2 Cancer Capricorn eclipses. The first two ago was from 2000 to 2002. Think about what was going on in your life. What were you going through? And then the next one was from 2009 to 2011. So I'm going to give myself as an example. This is not about me. I'm just going to share this to illustrate. My twins were born, my twin boys were born in June 2000. Okay, I was told I could not have children. This was an incredible blessing. It was serendipitous that I met this certain doctor at an NYU medical center through work. It was just very weird and bizarre how we just crossed paths and she was able to help me, and I ended up having my twins in 2000. 18 months later, my mother passed away, who I was extremely close with. So I had this gift come in before I had something eclipsed out. And that's frequently what happens is something gets eclipsed in before it gets eclipsed out, vice versa. But you want to look at the 2-year period. And then fast forward to 2009 into 2010, I divorced my husband at the time, and I rediscovered myself, and I worked on myself, and I literally revamped myself. I had been in the health and wellness industry for many years as a massage therapist, personal trainer, aerobic instructor. I owned a gym in Manhattan for 10 years. That was a significant portion of my life, and I completely transitioned, fully entrenched full-time into higher education. I just completely switched gears. So big changes for me, in my home sector for sure. So think about your life and think about what was going on. Now, this doesn't mean that if something horrible happened to you guys during this time period, that same thing is going to happen. That same, my mother died. I'm not thinking another death is going to happen. You can't really think like that. But you just want to think about the idea of what came into your life and what was eclipsed out. And that's going to be echoed right now, okay? So most important, this is going to be hitting the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, most significantly. But for everyone, this is going to be a really emotional time, very social time. So let's just talk about, as far as you guys go, Leo, there are 3 degrees that you want to focus on, because depending on where you are in the Leo cycle, that's going to dictate how you are hit with this eclipse. And really, this has to do with astrology in general. So for those of you who are July born or from 0 to 9 degrees, you're considered early degree Leos. Those of you born from August 1st to August 10th, you're considered middle degree. That would be from 10 to 19 degrees, those of you who know your degrees. And then the later degrees would be August 11th on, and that would be 20 to 29 degrees. So we have this Cancer solar eclipse at 10 degrees and then 24 degree Capricorn lunar eclipse. And this is where you're going to primarily be feeling it, okay? Early degree, you're going to be feeling it most strongly in your 12th house of self-undoing, your 11th house of friendships, your 10th house of social status. That's going to be the main focus. You're going to feel some hints of it also in your 6th house, okay, which is health, it's physical and mental, okay? That's where it's going to be really kind of hanging out for you guys. Middle degree is the same as the early. We have that 12th, 6th, 11th, and 5th house focus. Again, that's the house of self-undoing, house of friendships, social status, and health. So it's really kind of very broad for you guys. And then the late degree, though, you guys are going to have it, you're going to feel it a little different. Your 11th house of friendships, your 5th house, where something major is going to be going on with your kids and or projects, sudden endings to relationships are indicated here. And then you're also going to be feeling it in the 10th house, which is social status, and the 9th house is also going to be focused, which is philosophies and learning and solutions to long-standing problems and getting to the heart of things in an honest way. So all of you are going to have a very strong focus on work, career issues, issues going on with a dominant parent. All of you, early and middle, are going to really have a lot of strong breakthroughs regarding addictions, regarding spiritual breakthroughs. Fears are in these houses. Very dramatic changes, but good stuff, Leo, good stuff. This is not negative. This is good, all right? So now let's get into your reading. Again, I'm going to timestamp that, so if you guys wanted to just fast forward, if you watch it back again, because I know I did address this pretty quickly, and I am going to be talking about this more for the middle of June reads, just because it'll be close to the actual eclipses. So again, your crowning energy, we have Pisces, I believe, which means In faith and trust, you must surrender to what is. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and it's a mutable sign, and it's at home in the 12th house of undoing, which makes sense because this is where the eclipse is going to be hitting you guys, you know? So this being your crowning energy tells me that, you know, this is going to have, that 12th house is really going to have a heavy focus for a great majority of you. But, you know, what does this mean? Let's talk about Pisces for a second. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It symbolizes the old soul, you know, someone who has passed through many lives, who's picked up a lot of experience here and there, but sometimes doesn't process things well and tends to repeat mistakes. Okay, so this energy usually indicates having trouble maintaining boundaries, and sometimes, I don't know if this is going to sound odd, but it's what I'm getting, like where you almost feel half erased, where you feel like half invisible in certain situations. Okay, but this is such a beautiful energy. You know, this is where compassion lives. True visions that link up with the collective, you know. Yeah, it's very positive, but this, at the same time, this energy can indicate having some trouble sorting matters out. You know, so for example, you may be able to sense deeply, except for certain things extremely bad for you, which turn out to be disasters. So you have this deep sense about things, this level of intuition. But when it comes to things that are like deeply bad for you, it's almost like your blind spot, you know? But the thing, this energy, this indicates survivors in the biggest way. And this can indicate an energy with many of you just going to be very extra sensitive right now during this time period to beauty and all that that means to you. And you're going to be feeling very connected to spirit, very in touch with your creative energy. This also indicates a great idea from the past re-emerging, you know, that you might want to finish. It's great energy for that, especially because we have Mercury retrograde coming up next month. So we're going to be hitting the shadow now in June. Yeah. You know, many of you, though, are going to be very confused by others' reactions right now. Like, you're going to feel, in a way, unable to get answers to questions that you're seeking right now. And you're going to feel like you're being pulled into people's drama, or people's complications and drama, if that makes sense. Like, well, you're going to be just being pulled into situations you really don't want to be part of, and everything's going to feel a little unclear at certain points to you. And I'm not getting that it's being done intentionally, so there's no malice here. But I'm just getting that many of you are going to be dealing with a person or a situation that tries to pull you into their confusion. You know, and then finally, when we have this energy, it's often where circumstances may be like covert or at least obscured from view right now. Those of you who are familiar with traditional tarot, this is very much a hangman energy. You know, we kind of like in this space of thinking, and not everything is clear to you yet, right? Which is why like the hangman hangs upside down, is because he's waiting to gain some clarity. So let's get into your Celtic cross spread. So to represent the space that you are in right now, we have the High Priestess as the energy indicating where you're at right now in your space. So this is your intuition being very turned up during this time. This energy is very much like an incubation period for you. Very private, going inward, deepening your relationship with your higher self, and really trusting your internal knowledge. It's like a quiet nurturing to this energy, which I really like. Many of you are very much getting in touch with yourselves, or in a space of learning a great deal about spirituality and what life is really about. You know, what is it about for you? Regarding relationships, this can mean being single for a time. Or if you're in a relationship, you and your partner choosing to keep part of your life separate or secret right now. So this can be from each other, or it can be the two of you as a couple keeping something secret from other people in your life. In career, this does indicate success is coming in, but contracts and new work, it's taking time to mature and come to fruition. So you just need to be patient, you know. And some of you, I'm feeling like things are going to be pretty calm and cool in your family structure, but you guys are just all going to be very, very busy, which may make you feel a little distant from the people who you share your space with in your home. Okay, and then the energy that's crossing you, we have the in this deck, it's called the Wheel of the Year. right? It's the Wheel of Fortune, which is all about fate and destiny, with the numerology link to the Magician, which is a Jupiter energy, which is awesome, because this is all about anything being possible, and it's usually positive. You know, this is about chance meetings, unexpected offers, news arriving really quickly. If life's been difficult recently, the wheel indicates things are going to go in a better direction for you. Yeah, that intuition. Under this influence, your intuitive powers are super turned up. Yeah, and I'm a lot of you are going to be tuning in to people from your past who magically reappear. This is a great card for communication with family and friends who maybe live a bit away from you, you know, who live a distance away. Your desire for knowledge is really heightened right now. Absolutely. And it's like you have this understanding that you can't control the forces that are going on around you, but you really do want to understand everything better, which is awesome, right? And then regarding relationships, this indicates an ex-partner or love interest coming back. So you're going to need to decide if this time your relationship will succeed, because the energy supports this reuniting. But you're going to have to see. You have free will, you know. Evaluate the level of toxicity, or were they just silly arguments, or, you know, fill in the blank, whatever, however it would apply to you. Now, regarding career and money, there is news coming in that's going to improve your situation, but you're going to have to prioritize the demands that are going to be put upon you right now, because I'm getting like you're going to have to quickly adapt to some challenges and changes, but it's all going to end up really good, so don't sweat it. You're just going to have to be mindful that you're going to have to make some adjustments in your schedule. And regarding home, some of you might have some unexpected changes in your living arrangements that can happen during this time. And while it might be surprising, the benefits in the long term really outweigh any temporary discomfort. So this is all about surrendering to fate, you know, just surrendering to fate. Then we have the best that can be achieved from these circumstances. And while these are two very good intuitive energies, we have this Knight of Cups reverse, which indicates some kind of disappointment. An offer that at first appeared to be pretty perfect is not materializing, leaving you feeling like confused and pushed out of a situation. Some of you may be dealing with a person who's untrustworthy and unreliable and not very sincere in the way that you think they should be in a relationship. Now, this could be a significant other, or could be a family member or a friend. But if it's somebody in a relationship, you know the kind of person I'm talking about. Like, they're the kind of person who they don't want to stick around much after the honeymoon phase, and they're hooked more on the chase than anything else. And you know, regarding the relationship sector, somebody has an intimacy issue, a commitment issue, and they're just not very predictable. So this energy does recommend stepping away, since the person really has very little to offer you in the long run. Yeah, you know. But again, it doesn't have to be a significant other. It can certainly be in a friendship, or even a colleague, you know. And then your foundational energy, we have the Empress, which is the numerological link to the Hangman. So again, reflecting back to that oracle energy. Yeah, this is awesome to have as a foundation, because this is about abundance and material comfort and sensuality and security and emotional support. So this very auspicious card for children and families, indicating harmony at home and supportive energy for those of you who want to start a family right now. This is about your needs being met. So I really like this for you. Regarding relationships, this is about happiness. So those of you who are single, this indicates a really good time to begin a relationship. And those of you who are in committed relationships already, this is a very harmonious time. Yeah, I do like this. Yeah, even relationships in your family, everything's going pretty well. Yeah. Regarding career and money, this energy does indicate security and money coming in, and you being resourceful and able to support others during this time. And this also indicates, for many of you, renovations and extensions in your home. Those of you who have a home, good time for home improvements. Many of you are going to be thinking about maybe moving to a larger home, but this is a very abundant energy that you have as your foundation, which is great because a couple of things. Not only is it very positive, but it's a major arcana, which is going to kind of blanket this entire time period. So any of like the negative shifts and things leaving and things coming in and all of that back and forth stuff that you're going to be dealing with the eclipse season, this is an awesome foundational energy to have, okay? And then we have in your past, we have the Justice card, which is a numerology link to the High Priestess. You have a lot of this High Priestess energy vibe, I feel like, which is so cool. This is a Libra energy, and this is about having to make adjustments. Having had to make adjustments, because this is in your past. So this indicates that what you were going through in the past is ultimately going to produce a very positive outcome. Like this was a time when past, how do we say it? Like past issues or imbalances are being readdressed, where you're benefiting you're benefiting from some sort of fairness, okay? But I do have to say that this only applies to those of you who have been 100% accountable, honest, and deserving. This is very much karmic energy, very karmic here, okay? Equally, many of you others, okay, if that didn't resonate with you, are simply going through a time where you're like, it's like you're the judge in your own life, using your own perspective and integrity to make some really good decisions, as a way to safeguard your future. Many of you may have had to take a stand on an issue that affects you and those that you care about. Some of you may have been dealing with some sort of legal issue that indicates a decision having been come through in your favor, is what we get in this energy, which is great. Yeah, spirituality is happening for you right now on so many levels, right? Because the Justice card is all about, like I mentioned a second ago, karma. And it's like actions and consequences, okay? So regarding relationships, while balance and practical issues weren't important for you at this point, you were very focused on having your emotional needs met and really just trying to find balance and really trying to get in touch with what you need, And regarding career and money, many of you may have been in a time where you felt tested at work, but the outcome is ultimately positive, where, you're coming to an end of a time where many of you might have been struggling a bit financially, money matters, and this indicates money matters improving, Yeah, and regarding home, many of you may have been having to deal with some sort of legal issue concerning property that was resolved, like the signing of contracts that allowed you to progress forward in your life. So for many of you, this can even be divorce papers, if it had to do with somebody moving out, or something like that. Yeah. And then in the near future, we have the Four of Swords energy, which tells me that you're going to be in a space of taking a time out and just get some much needed rest from work, or this can even mean taking a break from a relationship. I do have to say that. This energy often does come up for that. But also, some of you may be recovering from an illness or an operation during this space. Regardless, it's a recovery from stress. So the message here is to conserve your energy and take some quiet time if you need to and if you can, because you're being nudged to take some time alone to recharge. For some of you, this can indicate starting to do some work with like a counselor or a therapist, or maybe even just having regular conversations with somebody who you just really trust and respect, And then the energy representing you we have is the World, which is beautiful. I mean, this is the Empress. This is a Saturnian energy. This is an earth element. This is all about completions and rewards for your efforts. And because of this, the World really is one of the most welcome cards in any reading, because it indicates deep joy and happiness, that you're feeling like you deserve it, where your life is going to finally be feeling more balanced at work, in your relationships, in your finances, and your domestic affairs are going to finally be going smoothly. Like, this indicates a phase is coming to an end in a positive way, right? And you're going to be acknowledged publicly for what you do. So now is a great time to enjoy your success and fame in whatever area you're in, you know, so whatever area your career is in or what have you. This really, this is an energy of recognition. Regarding relationships, this is all about happiness and joy and you feeling fulfilled and yeah, I mean, just achieving goals in career too. Many of you are going to be going through a rise in your status during this time, but I like it. This is really nice. And for those of you who are maybe looking to move, this is you coming across a home that you really resonate with very strongly, which is great. And then we have the external influence as the Seven of Swords reverse, which shows a tendency to somehow give up on something rather than take a stand, okay? So this is an energy where you may feel the need to think like your opponent to anticipate their next move. And this is very necessary because this approach is going to help you to defend what is rightfully yours. Otherwise, you may end up, I don't know, surrendering too soon. That might sound very dramatic, but you may end up sacrificing something that is rightfully yours. So this primarily does apply to work situations, like when a colleague is trying to disempower you. You know, so it's important that you stand your ground and this can also indicate some sort of legal problems dealing with in business in some way. So because this is a general reading, you guys have to take it however you would see fit. And then we have in the hopes and fears position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. And this tells me that many of you are hoping that the financial stability that you feel is entering into your life is real and it stays. Some of you guys are nervous about that. You just really want to feel safe in your home and proud of your achievements and surround yourself with material objects you love and just be able to focus on your own needs without feeling guilty. You don't want to feel guilty anymore. You know, you really just want to feel this true sense of serenity and relaxation after a time of maybe not feeling like this. But listen, you guys are feeling some fear in this area. Please try to pivot your thoughts. Pivot away because the cards indicate success for you. I feel like this eclipse season is going to be so positive for you guys. This is one of the most positive readings I've gotten. So this is great because you don't want to bring any negative juju into your narrative right now, right? So positive thoughts, you know. And let's take a look at your outcome, which we have you. It's the Strength card. How fantastic is that? And this is all about your fortitude and dedication paying off in some area of your life. This is you really turning to you right now for self-guidance. And you going through a period of not only demonstrating strength of character, but you actively building a stronger character within yourself. Patience might be needed right now, though. I do have to say that, as many of you are trying to get a situation or an individual under control. You're going to need to act with grace and sensitivity. You know, be kind rather than forceful. You're going to have a much more favorable result if you approach it from that way. This is a great energy for you to help somebody out, though. And this does indicate strong resiliency and vitality for those of you who might be recovering from some kind of illness, and strong willpower for those of you who are trying to maybe break some bad habits, which is great considering what this Pisces oracle was indicating as a crowning energy. So I feel like you guys are going to do some good work in that area. Those of you who resonate with that, that's tough to break those bad habits. Regarding relationships, this indicates the need for balance. So where there may be a danger here, though, that physical attraction can mask emotional or other commitment issues that need to be addressed in your life right now. This is also a message of hope if your relationship has been tested. Things are going to get much better in a very obvious way. And regarding career and money, this is a time where tension at work is going to be resolved. You know, yeah. And the only last thing I get from this is some of you might find yourselves playing mediator for some people in your life. They have very strong opinions, and you may need to mediate a situation. Like your courage and your wisdom might be needed to help facilitate some kind of situation, but really positive. I mean, Leo, overall, You guys are going to have a good 2 weeks in June, I see. Those houses are going to be hit, but you know what? Because you're not a cardinal sign, I just don't feel like it's going to be crazy, crazy profound for you. But let's see towards the end of June as we get closer to that direct hit. I'll see you guys then. Take care.